What lies beneath the world's most romantic city, forgotten and buried for centuries? What secrets did medieval Paris hide below its cobbled streets? And who was meant to find them? A map etched in stone, symbols linked to the legendary Knights Templar. A labyrinth of tunnels no modern record dares to mention. Was it a passage for kings, a refuge for conspirators, or something far more powerful, something they tried to seal away forever? In the dark beneath the Latin Quarter, two researchers make a discovery that could rewrite history. But some doors are hidden for a reason, and once opened, they may never close again. The secret tunnels beneath Paris. The beam of my flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing walls of pale limestone that had remained untouched for centuries. As an archaeological researcher at the Sorbonne, I'd spent years studying Paris's subterranean world, but this discovery was unlike anything I'd encountered before. "Professor Lambert, you need to see this," my assistant Elise called from 20 meters ahead, her voice echoing against the narrow passageway. We were 4 stories beneath the bustling streets of Paris's Latin Quarter, in a section of the city's infamous Catacombs that wasn't on any official map. While the tourist-friendly portions of Paris's underground displayed neatly arranged bones and skulls, this network was something else entirely. Medieval tunnels that had been sealed off and forgotten for hundreds of years. As I approached Elise, the tunnel widened into a small chamber. She stood before a wall covered in faded markings, elaborate symbols mixed with what appeared to be 14th century French. "It's a map," I whispered, tracing my fingers across the etched stone. "A map of tunnels connecting to the Louvre. But not the modern palace. This shows the medieval fortress. Evil. According to the historical records I'd studied, these tunnels were first created during the 12th century, when Philippe Auguste ordered the extraction of limestone to build Paris's defensive walls. Over time, the quarries expanded into a vast subterranean maze. While most Parisians today knew about the ossuary created in the late 18th century, few realized how extensively these passageways had been used throughout the Middle Ages. "Look at these symbols," Elise said, pointing to recurring marks beside certain pathways. "They match the sigils used by the Knights Templar." My heart raced. The Knights Templar, warrior monks who accumulated enormous wealth during the Crusades before their suppression in 1307, were rumored to have hidden treasures beneath Paris. Most historians dismissed these tales as mere legends, but standing in this forgotten chamber, I wasn't so sure anymore. Our research had led us here after discovering obscure references in 14th century manuscripts mentioning les chemins secrets sous la cité, the secret paths beneath the city. These documents suggested that medieval nobles, merchants, and even royalty used these hidden routes to move throughout Paris undetected, particularly during times of civil unrest or foreign invasion. "According to this," I said, interpreting the markings, "this tunnel connects to at least 3 major structures that existed in medieval Paris, including the Grand Châtelet prison and the temple enclosure." As we continued our exploration, we discovered small rooms carved into the rock, some containing rusted metal fixtures that might have once held torches, others with stone benches worn smooth by centuries of use. In one chamber, we found fragments of pottery and coins dating back to the reign of Philip IV. These tunnels weren't just passageways, I realized. They were meeting places, secret chambers where people could gather away from prying eyes. History books told us that medieval Paris was a city of narrow, crowded streets where privacy was nearly impossible to find. These underground chambers would have provided rare spaces for confidential conversations, whether for political conspiracies, forbidden romances, or clandestine business deals. The further we ventured, the more the tunnel network revealed itself as an elaborate system, not haphazard quarry extensions, but deliberately engineered passages with drainage channels, air shafts, and even defensive choke points. This wasn't just extraction work, this was sophisticated medieval civil engineering. When we finally emerged back to the surface hours later, Paris looked different to me. The modern city with its wide boulevards and Haussmannian architecture now seemed like a thin veneer over something much older and more mysterious. Below the streets where tourists strolled and locals hurried about their day, an entire shadow city waited in darkness, a medieval Paris preserved in stone, telling stories that history books had forgotten. Our discovery would challenge everything historians thought they knew about medieval urban life. These weren't just quarries repurposed as ossuaries centuries later. They were intentional pathways that had shaped the secret history of one of Europe's greatest cities for over 800 years, and we had only just begun to uncover their secrets.